Comet, the Unstoppable Reindeer by Jim Benton. 'Twas the night before Christmas, a tense situation. The elves had worked the whole year without a vacation. They weren't jolly or cheery, they were tired and cranky. There was some pushing and shoving between Stinky and Stanky. And so Comet stepped in. He hated elf fights. Then a wild punch connected and turned out his lights. When Comet came to, they were all getting along, but his arm had a bend where one didn't belong. The doctor came over and got to work fast. He outfitted Comet with a sling and a cast. As Comet jumped down, Doc said with a frown, "You're not going anywhere, just sit yourself down. No dashing, no dancing, your arm, it needs fixin'. It will be a long time before you're prancin' with Vixen." Later that night, Comet watched Santa get ready. His spot had been filled by a rookie named Freddie. "But Comet's the best," Dasher whispered to Blitzen. "I mean, Freddie is nice, but I'm not sure he fits in." "I fit in," said Freddie. "I so qualify. I don't need a degree. I'm a reindeer. I fly." Santa hugged Comet and told him goodbye. Comet sighed as he watched them fly into the sky. It's so very quiet when the elves all go home, and you're a busted-up reindeer at the North Pole alone. Your friends have all gone to leave good girls and boys a present from Santa's great big bag of toys. "His big bag of toys?" Comet started to yell. "How could they forget?" And he called Santa's cell. But Santa was laughing at Freddie's bad singing. With those loud ho-ho-hos, no one heard the phone ringing. There was only one thing that a reindeer could do to make sure that those toys got to me and to you. One single thought went through Comet's head. Always lift with your legs, that's what everyone said. With a heave and a ho, he lifted that bag, but the weight was so great that he started to sag. He tried with a lever, he tried with a hoist, he tried till his forehead was reddened and moist. "I simply can't do it. This bag weighs too much. There are too many toys and candy and such." I gave it a try. I can't do any better. But as he gave up, he noticed a letter. "Dear Santa," it said. Most start out that way. Or, "Dear Mr. Claus," or, "Yo, Tubby, hey." But this said, "Dear Santa, it'd be great if you could bring a toy for my sister. She's so sweet and good. She's too small to write, but I know what she'd like. A little green pig on a little pink bike." But there are so many kids, and the world is so big. She'll understand if you can't bring the pig. She won't cry a bit, she won't even pout. Just don't wear yourself or your poor reindeer out. Comet was stunned. No child, no elf, had ever put reindeer ahead of himself. But if you can swing it, it's all up to you. Our house is bright yellow, the roof is bright blue. Comet looked at that bag. It was simply too big. But at the tippiest top was that little green pig. He huffed and he wheezed and he let out a whine. Comet felt something slip out of place in his spine. But he hefted that bag like a brave little fighter. Would it kill kids to ask for some toys that are lighter? He limped to the map and looked to the east. It's morning there first, groaned the belabored beast. He lumbered outside and prepared to depart when he heard the soft sound of a hernia start. "I'll begin in the east and work my way west," Comet said as he winced at a pain in his chest. He flew to Siberia, Japan, and New Guinea, where he knocked out a tooth, crashing him to a chimney. He rested a minute. He felt kind of queasy. Santa had always made steering look easy. Then to China, Mongolia, Nepal, Pakistan, where he was nearly run over by a red minivan. On to Egypt and Sweden, Italy and France, where he scraped up his butt because he didn't wear pants. Then through Greenland, Guyana, and Newfoundland too, where a crash with a goose knocked his antlers askew. Cleveland, Chicago, then up to Quebec, he picked up a limp and a pain in the neck. He had left lots of toys, like $1 billion or two, but he'd found no yellow house with a roof of bright blue. The night was half done, things weren't going so well, and a lump on his ear was starting to swell. He looked in LA, he looked in Seattle, then he borrowed some Band-Aids from a small herd of cattle. He flew up to Alaska, through each little town, but the bag was near empty, so he sat himself down. I've circled the world and given a toy to every good girl and every good boy. He looked at his map as he shed a small tear. No little green pig for little sister this year. That tiny tear fell on a spot in the Pacific, Honolulu, Hawaii, to be more specific. A surge of delight arose in his chest as he plotted a course that was south by southwest. Way out at the sea, near the end of his race, a whale blew his nose right in Comet's face. That was all he could take. Comet felt he was through, but just then Hawaii came into view. At long last he found that roof of bright blue on the house painted yellow in warm Oahu. He slipped down the chimney with a gift for the boy and, of course, for his sister, the little pig toy. He was met by the boy who had written the letter. "Gee, your arm's in a sling. I hope it gets better." Comet smiled and sighed. The kid's phone gave a jingle. "I'll get it," said Comet. "I'll bet it's Kris Kringle." It was Santa, of course, full of thank yous and praise. So quick-thinking Comet mentioned getting a raise. "And a vacation," said Santa. "Can the elves have one too?" asked Comet, who knew that's the right thing to do. "We'll all go," laughed Santa. "That should heal that bone." "Oh, and next time," said Comet, "please turn up your phone."